What's up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here, and today we're going to be doing a mod spotlight. This is going to be a brand new series. We're going to cover some of the more unknown mods in the Techromancer mod pack. And today we're going to be starting off with MCI Craft. This series is basically to give you guys kind of a deeper insight into some of the cooler mods in the pack that you may not be very familiar with at the moment. And hopefully these will give you guys, something to work with, something to take a look at, and, kind of get you guys into some things that you may not know about at all or might never have played with at all. So here we go. We've got a mineshaft mold. This is one of the first items in MCI Craft that I want to showcase to you guys. This little thing is very nice. Number one, it's cheap as hell. You do have to get a diamond pickaxe, but everything else is very, very cheap. Just some iron bars, 2 chests, and a furnace. And then you've got this little monster. Now, one of the things, and there's a lot of stuff in MCI Craft that's like this, when you place it down, you need to be very careful with where you're looking and how you're oriented and the direction that you're placing things. So, for instance, if I just slap this thing down like this, you'll notice that the lines are all pointing down. There's nothing on the top, and you can't see any holes or anything. So you may be wondering, well, where the hell is it? Well, if you place it like that, looking in that direction, you now see the hole. And you can kind of tell which direction it's wanting to go. So if you wanted to go, let's say you wanted to dig south, you just look south, place it there, and now you've reoriented it in that direction. And that makes it pretty easy to do. It's also pretty easy to break. One of the other things you need to be careful with on this is it does break the block below it. So for instance, let's say we wanted to make a tunnel right here. Well, we could place it right there, and that's going to kind of dig around, but the problem with it is it's going to break this line of blocks right here, as well as this one here and the one above. So we may not want to do that for a mine shaft. So let's go ahead. We're just going to put this right here so that we can easily see it. And we're going to place the little guy right there. You can see he's up off the ground. That way he's just going to break those lines right there. And he'll break one above, and that makes it kind of easy to handle. So to fuel this thing, you just need to put some coal in here. That's pretty easy to do. Unfortunately, charcoal does not seem to work. I don't know if that's by intention or if it's just a bug or an accident. And then one of the other really cool features is you only need to put wood in here and some torches. Torches are not required. If you do put them in, it will light up the tunnel in such a way to keep monsters from spawning. If you don't put it in, well, you just made yourself a really pretty monster spawner, and it's not pleasant. The nice thing about this right here is it will use this for all the materials that it uses, and it can make fences with this, ladders, platforms over ravines, pretty much all of the stuff that it builds, it creates itself. So you don't have to fill up all these little individual inventories, and that can be kind of a pain in the ass. When you're done, you just click the toggle button and it'll start doing its thing. And you can see it's already breaking blocks and it's moving forward. Now, one of the other cool features is you can see right here, it's kind of making its own mine shaft. It's got its fences right here. It's got the wood up top. It's got a torch that you supplied it with, but everything else it produced on its own. And it's not the quickest of devices, but it does move, fairly quick. You can see right here, it's using up some of the fuel. All of the things that it's mining are going in the inventory here. And you can see that it is technically steam powered. You can see there's steam right here. So let's say you get in here and you decide you want to turn the little monster off. So we'll let him move forward real quick. Oh, he's going to go ahead and build the fence. So we're going to actually let him go one more, because since he decided to build the little shaft there, it'll be kind of weird for what we're fixing to want to do. All right. On this one right here, we'll turn it off. Okay. And then we're just going to click toggle. All right, so now that we've clicked toggle, he stops instantly. And you can see we've got everything nicely lit up in here. So we're going to go ahead and break him. Now you can see all the stuff is stored in his inventory. We're going to go ahead and break him real quick. I want to show you the other feature that he can do. All right, let's pick him up. Now we want him to dig. Let's go ahead and clear this out so it's not so weird. We'll break this real fast. All right, so we're going to dig him right here, straight down. So we jumped up. Now he's focused directly down on the ground. And we'll drag all of these into here. And again, unfortunately, you can't just shift click these into the inventory. Hopefully at some point that might be possible, but not too big a deal. All right, so now it's digging down, and you can watch this little setup here. I really like this. This is to keep idiots from me killing themselves. It actually sets up kind of an entrance here. So this way, you can't just accidentally fall into your mine shaft. Now, I mean, you technically can, as there's still technically 2 blocks here. So, and we're going to have to break this, unfortunately. That was what I was kind of hoping to avoid. There we go. We'll put that torch right there. You can still technically fall to your death if you're not careful, but at least you have the ladder here. And you can see all of this is created by him without you necessarily having to mess with it, which is really nice. I like that. I like that feature. So he will go for... Oh, I need to get out of his way. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. You can also see he's now building more fences down there. So that keeps it. If you do kind of fall, you can always lean over to the side and you'll be pretty good. Keeps you from having any of those troubles of accidentally falling to your death, like I have a tendency to do. Now, one of the other nice things about it is he will only go 60 blocks. So you don't have issues with like Steve's carts where he starts digging and he's just going to dig forever and you'll eventually lose him. He only has to go 60 blocks and then he stops and you have to go and interact with him again. Just be careful if you have a lot of different ore types, like with a heavily modded pack like we do. He can fill up before the end of the 60 blocks and then he just drops the stuff on the ground and you end up losing the materials. So that's no fun. Also, be aware he will not be destroyed by lava or affected by water, but you will. So if you dig into a lava ravine and it's his 60th block and he stops, you're actually going to have to remove the lava before you can get to him. Now, thankfully, there's a lot of things in our mod pack that allow us to handle lava flows like that. But even with vanilla, as long as you got a bucket, some water, and some patience, you can get to your little guy. Now, some of you guys may be wondering why we're over here looking at a block of TNT. Well, MCI Craft adds the nuclear bomb. And unlike some other nuclear charges, it's fairly cheap. So let me show you guys what the nuclear bomb looks like. Nuclear bomb right here. Pretty easy to make, just some TNT and some plutonium. I'll show you guys how plutonium is made here in a minute. Now, let's go ahead and compare the differences between a normal TNT explosion. Let's go ahead and trigger that and we'll get some distance so we don't get hurt. That's a decent explosion. You know, nothing to really write home to mom about, but it's pretty big. Actually, we're going to move this real quick. I'm going to move this a little farther out. This explosion is, according to the wiki, 10 times bigger than a normal TNT explosion. 10 times. So we're going to get some distance from here. And you want to get some distance. It may kill me anyway. Nope. Yep, it sure did. It killed me. I literally couldn't get away from it fast enough. Obviously, I'm naked, so that's part of the problem that I'm running into, but make sure you've got a plan to get some distance from that guy, because otherwise you're going to get blowed up. You're going to get blowed up. All right, so let's head over and take a look at this explosion. Now, you can see, now this was just dirt, because I had to make this little area, because we're out here in the ocean. But you can see, with just dirt, it left one hell of an impression. One hell of an impression. Pretty deep. And the other cool thing that I like about it is the pressure is focused kind of downwards, like in the direction the bomb is placed. So, you know, if you want to kind of open up somebody's base or kind of, you know, make a mine shaft or, you know, maybe a cool looking square hole in the ground with some really bizarre squiggly lines on the outside like I just did, that's how you do it. You can kind of compare the two explosions. I just like the way this explosion looks. For me, that just looks pretty badass. But you can see the explosion, for the most part, is focused downwards and upwards. So, but it killed me. I think we were like right over here. So that's a pretty big reach. That's a pretty big reach. So you want to be careful with that. That will leave quite the impression. Quite the impression. All right, so one of the other things I want to show you guys real quick. One of the other nice starter things up, and that's kind of what I think of MCI Craft when I think about it, is it's a good replacement for some of the other mods that might be a little bit harder to start off with. This one will get you a quicker start on a server. Now right here we have the electronic furnace. As you can see right here from the GUI, that it can handle 3 things at once, which is kind of nice. And the electronic furnace, whoops. Go ahead and press R here. You can see it is just a furnace surrounding a power storage cell. And the power storage cell is just cobblestone, iron, and redstone. It's basically just a piston with more cobblestone instead of wood. So pretty easy to make. And that will give you this little guy here. Now, MCI Craft is designed to work with thermal expansion. I don't know how well everything works, but for the most part, in my experience, everything interlinks perfectly fine with thermal. Now, one of the things you may notice, we are next to an energy cell here. We've got a ton of RF in here. It's set to output, and you may notice that right over here, let me go ahead and clear this so you guys can see it better. All right, right over here you can see it says -3107 RF. That's not accurate. I don't know why it's showing that. I don't know if that's an issue with our version of the mod or if it's just a bug. Who knows? Either way, it is powered, even though it says up there 0 of 100 MJ. But it can store 100 MJ in here. So if you're just starting off and you want to produce some stuff, very similar to the mechanism machines, this thing can have some pretty decent bandwidth. You're going to be able to handle 3 different things at once. It can handle pretty much all the ores. It can handle pulverized metals, pretty much anything. So I personally would recommend using this over a thermal expansion furnace because it can do 3 things at once. And it's about the same speed. I don't believe it uses as much power. And it's a pretty nice setup. Oh, you can see right here, it's pulling about 100 RF every second or so, give or take. Now, if you struggle with power, kind of like I do, at least starting up initially, these little solar panel here are a nice little setup for you to get started with. I'll go ahead and break some of these guys so we can show you how this all works. All right, so once you get started with the solar panels, let me show you how to make them. They are insanely cheap. You can see right here, only some sand, only some glass, 2 types of cobblestone. It can be any kind of cobblestone. Our pack has a ton of different varieties of cobblestone. So just 2 cobblestone and redstone, and that gives you the solar panel. That is damn cheap. I mean, you're talking like 5 minutes into the game, and you can easily have this. And you may be wondering, well, how much power does this produce? Well, you make one of these storage cells right here. Go ahead and make a few of them. And the storage cell, again, just some cobblestone, iron, and redstone. You place that next to one of these if you want. Break that real quick. Let me show you how these work. Bam. So you can see right here it's pulling in, I don't know, maybe 20 RF a tick, maybe. I mean, it's not the fastest, but it's still pretty quick. And you can connect these with cables and they'll work just fine. It'll speed up, get a little bit faster. You can see we're moving pretty quickly. So at least initially, your initial start will be pretty quick. And obviously you can later on hook these all up to one of these bigger energy cells if you choose. Let's do this. Break. Put you back down. There we go. And you can see it fills up pretty damn quick. So it's scalable. I mean, it's not going to be like IC2 solar panels, but you know, the key thing here is it's an easy, fast start. Something that's going to allow you to be very quick, at least on the get-go. Now, right over here, you guys are going to notice that there's some different ore types. We've got uranium ore here, we've got nether uranium ore, and then over here we've got viroxys. Now, uranium ore is what MCI Craft naturally spawns in your world. This is the fuel you're going to need for basically their equivalent of a nuclear reactor. I believe nether uranium ore only happens if you have nether ores enabled, which we do. But unfortunately in our pack, on World War Minecraft, neither of these spawn. What you're going to be wanting to look for our pack is viroxys. Viroxys, you mine this, it's going to give you this little piece of ore here, take it to spawn, trade it, and it's going to give you one of these uranium ores. Now you may be asking, well, what the hell do I do with uranium ore? Well, let's show you. Right here we've got a nice little nuclear reactor setup. You can see right over here we are getting some power in from this little reactor. And again, it's not going to produce the most power that, you know, there's a lot of mods that will produce more power than this one was. But we're talking about cheapness, bang for your buck. So we have 2 aqueous accumulators here. This aqueous accumulator is feeding into water to heavy water. Now you may be asking, well, what is that and how do I make it? Well, water to heavy water converter is right here. It does take gold, 2 iron ingots, redstone, and 2 glass. And that's going to give you this block here. Now this block has absolutely no GUI. I'm not sure I really like that. It'd be nice if we could actually see what was going on. But you can see an aqueous accumulator is feeding into it. And this is then feeding heavy water over here into our reactor. Now you can see we've got heavy water, that's 32 millibuckets. We've got 32 millibuckets over here of water, and then we've got enough uranium here to last us for a bit. Now you can see it's kind of ticking down. That's your fuel per uranium. So for each uranium that you put in here, you're going to get a lot for your buck. And you can see over here, let me go ahead and clear this out real fast so you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. You can see we have about 100,000 RF in it. And that's of course being output to this monster over here, which is storing it pretty quickly. And all of this is pretty easy to run. Now, you're going to need to get, at least initially, either some form of power from one of these power storage cells that you've set up with some of these around it to kind of charge up. Once you've got that charged up, you can slap it onto the heavy water reactor or heavy water converter, and then you just need to supply it with water. You can use aqueous accumulator, you can use a buildcraft pump, you can use mechanism pumps, however you want to get it into it. Aqueous accumulator for me is easy. Well, let's look at the PW, or what is it, PHW reactor. PHW reactor right here is just some obsidian, 2 glass, some iron ingots, and some redstone. Now, like I said, again, with this thing, it's not, it's not producing 10,000 RF a tick. It's not gonna, be something to write home about. But the key thing here is, number one, this uranium lasts a long time. I think it's like an hour per block. It's a long time, and it's producing a ton of fuel for you. Bang for your buck wise, it's pretty good. And then over here, every time you use one of these uranium ores, you're gonna get the plutonium. And if you'll remember, the plutonium, just one, makes a big ass crater like this over here. That's huge. That's huge. That's a lot of damage. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Might be something you want to look into, at least initially, until you can afford some of the other options. Now we're going to get into some other cool blocks here. Now let me go ahead. Well, I guess I can dump my inventory a little bit later. Now some of you guys may be wondering, is this high enough to actually do some damage? This right here is a slowdown block. Let me show you what slowdown block is made of. It is just some slimes, some slime balls in a 4x4. That'll give you 2 of them. And you can use that. And basically what they do is they kind of slow things down. You can't really tell it right here. Maybe you can a little bit, but it kind of slows things down a bit. Now, if we jump up here, and these are open block elevators, which are badass. Some of you guys may be wondering, is that going to actually kill me? I'm going to go ahead and jump off for your amusement, and you'll see what happens. Oh, I'm still in creative, I guess. That would kind of help to get rid of, huh? Let's try that again. Game mode 0. Ah! Stupid. Did I mistype it? Now of course, I'm going to fail at getting back up here. All right, let's try it this way. Set to creative. Now we're in survival. Or not. Now we're in survival. Dead. See, it only took me 5 minutes to get myself killed. Only 5 minutes, not that bad. Alright, go ahead and splash, because one of my mods decided to set spawn really high up, and you don't want to fall again from your death. Okay, so we've established that jumping off of this will kill us. Kill us and kill us dead. Alright, so I need to be careful coming forward. And we're going to jump down. No damage. No damage. So right there, it just slows things down, keeps you from taking critical damage, and you could use that for a mine shaft. If you've ever played Terraria, this would set up a perfect elevator. You could, I don't know, there's a lot of varieties of different things you can use this for. Some really cool stuff. And like I said, it just needs to be, you can also set it on the ground down here if you want. That'll accomplish the same thing. You don't have to have any space here. Just be careful and don't put it like halfway, because then it'll slow you down, and then you're just going to speed back up, and that's not going to be fun. That's not going to be fun at all. All right, so this little machine over here is one of my new favorite toys. I absolutely love this thing. This is the mass accelerator. Mass accelerator. Let me show you guys. First off, I'm going to give myself a couple of them, and then we'll show you guys what it makes. This is just iron ingots, redstone, and redstone torches, and that'll give you 4 of them. 4 of them. Now, I have a really badass idea for this, and I'm going to show you guys probably in a couple weeks if I can find the other mod I need. And it's going to be pretty badass. But let me show you guys how this works. Now, first off, it's very similar to the mining mole machine. You want to make sure that you've got it pointed in the direction you want. You can kind of see how you've got it set up here. We can see that this one's going to accelerate things down. This one over here, it's going to accelerate things in this direction. Put this one here, it's going to accelerate things in that direction. So it basically knocks you. And once again, you can see that's my hands off the keyboard. There you go. And you could probably set something up, and I'm a little hesitant to do this, but you could set something up. My hands are completely off the keyboard. This is a ping pong ball basically set up, and it's going to knock you around like crazy. So what's some of the stuff you can do with this? Well, let's just think hypothetically, and you might be asking, what the hell's up with the pink wool? Let's say you're playing on a faction server, and let's say this is Bob's base over here. And you want to get into Bob's base, but obviously this is his faction territory. The pink stuff is, for those of you guys who can't visualize it without a pink pink neon sign there. And you can't come over here and break this because it's in faction territory. And you can't place TNT right upside against it because, again, faction territory. So it's not going to work. However, this over here isn't faction territory. So what you can do is you can just place this little monster right on top of here. You flip the switch. And it accelerates right up against the wall. And explodes. Now we've got explosions, I believe, disabled at the moment. And that's why the TNT, at least... well, I'm not quite sure why that didn't work, actually. We've got a problem with some of those things. I think the world guard that Lim has over here is interfering. Let's move back over here and see if it'll work over in this direction. I really hope it will. Actually, I need to get my... Well, we'll just make another lever. I know for a fact explosions work over here. And there's one thing I want to show you guys real quick. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully it'll work here. Hopefully. All right, let's get our lever real quick. There we go. And then we need just one block to place it on. We'll just use stone. Okay. Put that there. Try this again. You can see it goes a pretty decent distance. That's pretty decent. All right, so we got an explosion there. Well, you'll notice I didn't flip the switch back. I didn't flip the switch back. So I can just kind of do this. And you can blow the absolute hell out of something. Now, I'm not gonna give you guys too many evil ideas, but as you can see, we're making a pretty decent hole down there. Pretty decent hole. Now, the other cool thing is, let's make a few of these, and I gotta be careful with this. That's why I kind of let that run for a bit. All right, we're gonna get some. Fuck, we better get some distance. That's gonna blow up big. Now, all right, we survived that one. We survived that one. So that was only what, half a heart damage. You can see now we're making some pretty decent progress down here in this hole. I'm not sure. I think it landed in the water, so I think the water canceled it out. But you could use this to make all sorts of TNT cannons. Have a whole hell of a lot of fun. Do some really serious damage. Just absolutely destroy someone's base. So if they're down at bedrock and you need to get down there, you need to light them up, you could utilize this to dig yourself a nice big hole, as long as you don't bump into water. And I do want to try one more thing, hopefully without the water. All right, come on, work for me. Work for me here. Stupid blocks. Let's see if I can get rid of the water. Is that going to fix it up? Let's turn fly back on. There we go. And boom. Boom. Set. We'll do 2. There we go. Let's seal this off. Let's just do that. There we go. Water's gone. Okay. Now we can have a little bit more fun. I am going to go ahead and go into creative for this, because this is going to be a little ridiculous. Alright, so we are now in creative. Let's fire a few of these little monsters over here. Woo! That, my friends, is how you break a server right there. Whoo! Hoo 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 hoo. So I'm thinking, if there was anything down there, we took care of it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? You think that took care of them? You think they're causing any more problems down there? Any more issues? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Personally, I think they're dead. Now, there is a lot of other cool stuff in MCI Craft that I am not covering, mainly because I'm not a redstone genius. Let me show you guys. Let me get back in survival. Let me show you guys some of these things. Mainly, this is redstone logic. You've got all these different types of gates and things like that. Basically, if a redstone signal comes in from the left, but not the right, do X. If it comes in from left and right, do Y. Lots of cool features here. Unfortunately, like I said, I am not a redstone bro. I don't know all the redstone skills. You can see you can have splitters here, so you can have 4 different signals coming into one block and going in 2 different directions. Just absolutely insane. So if you are a redstone guru, I strongly recommend you taking a look at this mod. There is a lot of cool things that you can do. If you like blowing shit up, you can blow things up. If you like just having a really cheap start, you can do that. If you like machines that dig for you and allow you to sit on your base and sip a Mai Tai while something else does the hard work, or if you just like playing ping pong, you can do that too. You can do that too. So anyways, that is MCI Craft, guys. Let me know what you guys think of this mod in the mods or in the comment section below. I will post a link to the mod, so for those of you that aren't playing on the Techromancer pack, you guys can go and check out the download page. Definitely worth downloading, definitely worth checking out. If you liked this video or found it useful, please slap that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.